choices. We're meant to choose.
What makes a choice difficult? It's almost never the one split cleanly into good or evil, the tidy moral binaries designed for a pre-decided evil run. The real weight comes from the choices where you don't know what the right answer is, where the consequences are murky, the stakes are painfully personal, and all you have to go on is instinct.
I'm sorry, Ash. I had to make a choice.
And in a medium that keeps pushing player agency, emotion, and empathy to their limits, a studio in Poland doesn't explore this idea through an emotional human lead, but through a certain stoic monster hunter. CDPR's quest writing in The Witcher 3 stands among the strongest narrative work in any video game. There are no boring filler quests or straightforward monster hunts, but every choice carries a weight that challenges the player, even when guided by their own empathy. Rooted in Sapkowski's works, this world carries his signature moral grayness, where Geralt's choices often reveal that sparing a monster can be more human than killing a man.
Nothing is ever black and white.
And this belief that some wounds cannot be cauterized by a witcher's blade is put to its ultimate test when the White Wolf encounters a certain contract in Velen.
First off, you tell me what it's like to have a heart of stone.
It's wonderful at the start.
Even after crossing paths with countless vile characters, Olgierd von Everec still manages to leave one of the worst first impressions on Geralt. Arrogant, unfeeling, and commanding, he comes off as nothing more than the bossy lord of a gang of cutthroats. And it doesn't help that the contract he gives Geralt turns out to be a ruse, one that leads the Witcher to mistakenly kill an Ophiri prince and nearly face execution. So when Geralt returns to confront him, and the player chooses a specific set of options, we are gifted with this. In this epic duel, it becomes clear that Olgierd is no ordinary man. The moment Geralt lands a blow that should have killed him, the reason behind Olgierd's strange character is revealed.
You're immortal?
Yet what makes this a brilliant reveal is that even as an immortal and a master swordsman, Olgierd isn't the most formidable villain here. In fact, the true villain is someone no Witcher would ever dare face in combat. The Faustian bargain is one of fiction's oldest tropes, appearing across countless stories. While Olgierd embodies the doomed man bound by the deal, the true bargainer is the very figure Geralt chose to serve, the closest thing this universe has to a devil.
So what are you? A demon? A djinn?
Appearing enigmatically from the start and masquerading as a merchant of mirrors, Gaunter O'Dim's true terror lies in the mystery of his powers. The game never fully reveals them, only that he is an architect of fate, possessing abilities that hint darkly at the true origin of his name. But none of this is revealed outright. Instead, Geralt is sent to fulfill 3 wishes, quests that aren't mere tasks, but deep insights into the von Everec family, each peeling back another layer of Olgierd's story. The first wish is an elaborate heist, whose culmination reveals that the von Everecs were once a wealthy family, until a string of debts and mismanagement caused them to lose everything to the Borsotis, the very targets of the heist.
They evicted me from my home.
The second wish, which sees Geralt attend an entire wedding with the spirit of Olgierd's blood brother, reveals through stories that Olgierd was not only honor-bound, but also had a woman he loved more than anything.
Loved the most beautiful maid.
Yet even with these glimpses, the story holds back its emotional core. It doesn't reveal the true casualty of his deal, not yet. That revelation awaits in Olgierd's final wish.
Ever a rose, a violet one. Bring me that blue.
A wish that sends Geralt back into the ruins of a once grand estate, where we're finally given the complete insight into this story by meeting the one character who reshapes the entire narrative.
Happy families are all alike. Every unhappy family is unhappy in its own way.
And as Geralt echoes the opening lines of a classic tragedy, the player is about to witness a remarkably similar one. Geralt arrives at the von Everec Estate expecting answers, but instead finds a place frozen in a strange, deliberate decay.
Mighty rusty and covered in creepers.
The first person he meets is a terrified thief, rambling about his partner who disappeared somewhere in the gardens.
Kendrick went to open the door. I stood watch. Suddenly heard his lamp smash. Then nothing. Quiet. Called out.
After spotting a hulking silhouette near the manor, the man flees, leaving Geralt alone in the estate. As the Witcher tracks the trail around the manor, it leads to what remains of the missing thief and the thing responsible for it.
Who are you?
In most monster encounters, Geralt's experience on the path means he knows the creature long before his silver sword is drawn. But the caretaker is neither a common beast nor a cursed human, it's something else entirely. A demon so strange that even the White Wolf can't make sense of it. What follows is the first boss fight of this quest. Every hit the creature lands restores his strength, and if the player keeps their distance, the caretaker summons dark spirits, whose sole purpose is to heal him even further. It's a fight where the lifesteal from the caretaker's spade punishes every misstep. But eventually, the giant falls to the Witcher, and the garden falls silent.
What the fuck was that?
That silence is broken by a black cat and dog, who speak to Geralt, heightening the supernatural atmosphere.
Who are you two?
Clearly not animals. Think of us as friends of the house. Iris is inside, in the bedchamber upstairs. Take his key. It opens the rear door.
With the caretaker's key in hand, he steps into the manor. The moment he steps inside, it's clear he isn't welcome here.
Be gone!
The house feels held together by memory.
What the hell was that?
Iris's voice echoes faintly through the corridors.
I'm afraid.
Doors open on their own. Figures appear in paintings and vanish when you get close. As Geralt explores the upper floor, he enters a hallway and comes face to face with the quest's second boss, the enraged, wrathful spirit of Iris herself. Like the caretaker's spade, she draws life from the paintings themselves, forcing the player to destroy the very memories that sustain her. Once that final defense falls, the manor's final room opens. Inside the bedchamber lies Iris's body, long dead, untouched, preserved in her bed as if time itself had stopped.
You wish to see her? Here she is.
Iris seemingly died of a broken heart, grief and loneliness consuming her long before death ever did.
One day Iris locked the front door, lay down here and died. From grief, from loneliness.
And to reach her spirit, to fulfill Olgierd's wish, Geralt has to do what no one else ever cared to.
Got my ways. To make contact with Iris, I gotta bury her body.
Her companions point him to the only place that ever brought her peace.
She spent much time in the front garden.
And so Geralt provides the final missing piece of this story by giving her a proper resting place beneath her last painting, leaving a cherished object at her grave, and closing the final chapter of her life. Only then does he call for her spirit.
Tormented spirit, I've laid your bones to rest. Forget your wrath, forget your grief. Show yourself.
As we enter what might be one of the most heartbreaking stories ever told, the game turns to a familiar trope, one we've seen countless times before. Only this time, it opens onto something far more intimate. It opens onto the scenes from a marriage. The painted world existed only in Iris's imagination, but after her death, it became a self-contained dimension, built from the memories she tried to bury. These memories trace her devotion to Olgierd, but they also manifest as hostile fragments of her fears, and the grief that consumed her as he drifted away. So to wake her, Geralt has to assemble these memories piece by piece, literally painting the picture of what happened.
My husband.
We start the sequence by seeing a happy Olgierd and Iris, clearly newlywed and genuinely in love.
Oh, if only this moment could last forever.
But as time moves on, the indifference begins to surface in Olgierd, the early signs of the
You stay a
curse.
while longer.
And Iris is already confused and hurt by the change.
Mama.
We then see an increasingly emotionless Olgierd, acting without regard for anyone around him. Iris, who still feels everything, becomes visibly affected by his detachment. As their relationship deepens, Olgierd grows incapable of showing affection, until he eventually forgets even how to smile.
You were meant to smile, not bare your teeth.
We witness his growing regret, hidden behind a locked door, as he tries in vain to reverse the curse by summoning the one who placed it on him. Yet even among all these haunting memories, the breaking point comes in the cellar.
Her father must have been holding the contract.
By this stage, Olgierd has lost all capacity to feel, and his loss of humanity shows itself in the most horrific act possible.
Get to the point, Father. My patience runs thin.
Gladly. On Iris's request, I declare this marriage null and void.
You vowed to remain with me till death do us part.
And I've held to my vow. The Olgierd I married is no more.
You shall stay here forever.
Enough! You will not command us. You will...
Father! Father! No!
Servant, take this carcass and feed it to the beasts.
Then von Everec ceased to be human.
Though he still loved his wife.
No, he merely remembered that he should love her.
Things used to be simpler. Monsters were bad, humans good. Now, everything's all confused.
Across the hundreds of contracts and moral gray areas Geralt faces in this bleak world, The Witcher has never truly been about the mechanics of slaying beasts. Instead, it serves as a testament to ordinary people, making extraordinary sacrifices for the one element necessary to survive a cruel reality: the capacity to love.
You came, but who I did not embrace.
The deeply tragic chronicle of Iris and Olgierd in Hearts of Stone acts as the ultimate twisted mirror to this truth. Olgierd's ruin wasn't merely that he lost his fortune, but that when he bartered to get it back, he discovered the ability to actually cherish it had died along the way. And it is this horrific manifestation of a human being, stripped of all genuine emotion, that essentially births a creature far worse than any post-conjunction beast. Materializing as clones of Iris's greatest fears, the fight is essentially against the physical embodiment of a husband's emotional decay. While the ultimate fate of both Iris and Olgierd rests entirely with the player, having to make a choice between leaving Iris to linger eternally in a beautiful, painful dream,
I don't know that you've chosen wisely.
or taking the rose and stripping away her very existence to grant her peace.
I need the rose. Will you give
The underlying lesson remains unchanged. It proves that on the path there are no right or wrong choices, only the consequences we leave behind.
I'll remember you, Iris von Everec.
And as it snows for the first time on the long ride back to Oxenford, we can do nothing but marvel at the poignant masterpiece the Polish studio has given us. Released in 2015 to universal critical acclaim, The Witcher 3 and its DLCs are still considered the pinnacle of RPG history. Complementing some of the best gameplay in fantasy, the core of its success remains its writing. By challenging the player to confront what truly defines a monster, and demanding we make the hardest, most heart-wrenching choices, Geralt proves something profound. He shatters the myth that he is just an emotionless monster hunter, and instead passes the torch to the one girl destined to inherit his path.
What can you know about saving the world, silly? You're but a witcher.